Hi everyone! So, second video review for this week is for Death's Prelude by David S. Pederson, and this is the second book I've read by David. So it's the I think it's the sixth book in the Heath Barrington detective mystery type series, but it's actually like a prequel to the previous mysteries. So if you want to check out my review, I did just post that. So if you are on YouTube, there's a link in the description below, and if you're on Facebook or on my blog, then there's a link within the post. And this is the video review. So Death's Prelude by David S. Pederson was absolutely fantastic. I'm totally sold on this series. I loved it when I read the first one that I read, which was book 5, which was Death Overdue. And so when David said he had this new one coming out, I was just so excited, and I couldn't wait to get a copy. So our lovely Heath, he's fresh from college, and he's off on an adventure with the absolutely fabulous Aunt Verbena. They're going to London, and whilst they're travelling on the ship, on the Queen Mary, they meet they meet Baron Simon Quimby, which obviously Aunt Verbena's had the delight to previously meet, but obviously Heath hasn't, so this is very exciting for him. And they get invited to Simon's very stately home in just outside London, in England, and Heath has become quite smitten with Simon. But with the Quimby family curse, which Simon's told them all about, well, he sort of mentioned it to Heath, but they've heard about it from other people, so he does sort of know about it, and Heath is just really desperate to prove that Simon had nothing to do with it, with all this, what happened to his family, because of this supposed curse. And despite everyone's suspicions, you know, Heath wants to prove that. So he just can't help himself. He starts piecing together the clues, and the detective in him is born, basically. So I absolutely adored this. Like I say, it was a fantastic prequel to the Heath Barrington mystery series, and it's only the second book by David that I have read, but I just love it. I absolutely love it, and I just love the tone and the air and the storytelling. It's so engaging, and I absolutely love it. But I can't wait to read the other books in the series. I'm really excited to do that, and this has really set that up nicely, because it's really introduced you to Heath becoming who he is in those other books. So it was an absolutely fantastic story, and gave great insight into how Heath has become the man that I met in the first one that I read. And this story just had everything and more, and it was so exciting reading it. Each chapter I was like turning the page, and I was like, Heath was growing as a character, the story was developing, and that detective in him was really starting to surface, and I was just really excited to like know when he was going to piece this all together. And I loved like the enthusiasm of him like really finding his calling, and you knew he was just like, in his heart, he just knew this was what he wanted to do, and he was so good at it, and he was going to be so good at it in future. But I absolutely loved his relationship with Simon. It was like kind of that first love, falling in love, and being completely smitten feeling, and it was something I could completely relate to, and the way that David had portrayed it was just so perfect, and I could recognise like each point of Heath's totally like falling for Simon. You just knew it was happening, and you could just experience it with him, and it was amazing. And it was a bit like being Aunt Verbena, because she knew, like, she's your typical I'm not saying anything, but I definitely know she's really intuitive, and as usual, she would just have fabulous self. I mean, I've only met her once, and I only got a snippet of her, and I'm so glad that we got to see much more of her in this story, because she's a great character. I absolutely adore her, because I just hadn't had enough of her with the first one that I read, and I was really hoping there would be more from her, because she's just a really exciting character, really exciting lady, and she's a great ally to Heath, even if at times, you know, he has no idea how much so. And I love his respect. I love his relationship with her, because he has such a respect for his aunt, and it just shows what a gentleman he is, even if Verbena does insist he still has a lot more to learn. But I think he was doing a pretty good job of being a gentleman. He's just a really curious one, and he's just really inquisitive about things. So the mystery in this story I wasn't sure how the mystery was going to go, because obviously knowing it was a prequel and Heath wasn't actually a detective yet, I was like, there's got to be some mystery for him. But I was like, what's it going to be like? And I didn't know if it was just going to be something low level. Like, you never know whether it's going to be like, there's like, you just don't know, right? Like, just something simple for him to figure out, or whether it was going to be a bit more complex. And for a long time, I just couldn't figure this out. And even though he started to like expertly question other characters, I was piecing bits together, but I was still very suspicious of people, and I was trying to figure it all out with Heath, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to manage to like figure this out before him, and I really wanted to. And I had my suspicions. I always had my suspicions, but when it all finally came out, they weren't quite accurate. So I'm not going to be a detective anytime soon, I don't think. But it was really easy to get carried away in Heath's sort of passion, and like I say, his inquisitive and curious nature in this, and wonder and ponder things, and every question he asked revealed a little bit more, little piece of the puzzle, and you were building like this bigger picture. Like not only in sort of when it came to solving the murders, but also for like the travelling and embracing experiences he had. He was just loving every moment of it, and just, it was really fun to experience that with him. It was very much, you could tell this was his first time travelling abroad, and this was his first real adventure, and he just really just embraced every element of it. But I hoped my suspicions would be correct, because at times I was guilty of suspecting Simon as well. I wasn't as sure as Heath was that Simon was innocent, and I did wonder just how much involvement he had, and I knew there would probably be some underlying reason for his involvement that wasn't so cold-hearted, but you just never know, because you never can tell. And I just really didn't know, and I loved that, because it just kept me guessing the whole way through the book, and I couldn't put it down. I was literally addicted to it. And I think that's just a great sort of, that's a great way to set up a series as well, is just to give you the character before they became the character that they are. I love it, watching them develop. So I highly recommend this story. It's absolutely great. Obviously introducing Heath, it gives more insight into his past, as well as sort of setting up the rest of the series really nicely. And I think the most fabulous thing was just seeing him blossom into the detective that I met in the first one that I read, in Death Overdue. And I can't wait to read the next mystery he has to solve, because I just know it's going to be fabulous. And he's such a great character, he's such a big personality, and I absolutely loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. And as I say, I can't wait to read more. So I will pop a link in the description so you can go and grab a copy of Death's Prelude by David S. Pederson, which I hope you will. If you've read Death's Prelude, it'd be great to hear what you thought of it, or if you've read any of the Detective Heath stories, then again it would be great to hear from you, so please comment below. Please let me know what you thought of like this story and the others. And if you haven't read Death's Prelude yet, but you're planning to read it, it's on your to be read list, or you're now really intrigued and thinking I really want to read that, or you want to check out this series, then again comment below, because it's always great to hear what you are interested in reading. And if you do read it, I hope you enjoy it. Bye.